Oh my god. Oh my god. What is this?
Even in such a tense moment, Henry's first reaction was still to protect his mistress, to prevent Jane Seymour from being accused by the Queen, and he hurriedly told Jane to leave immediately. But this only made her more agitated. She couldn't tolerate her husband's betrayal, so even though the pain in her abdomen was unbearable, she refused to let Henry touch her. But for the sake of the child she was carrying, Henry had no choice but to hold her tightly. He begged her to calm down. At first, they both thought the child was safe, but an accident still happened. That night, just as the maids were preparing for bed, a sudden scream came from the Queen's bedchamber. They rushed to the bedside, and this was the scene they saw. Without a doubt, and had miscarried again. She couldn't accept the fact of losing the child. She kept preventing the maids from summoning the royal physician. But even so, Henry immediately received the news. He rushed to Anne's bedchamber, but he didn't come here out of concern. On the contrary, he came to accuse her. He blamed Anne for making him lose the child. He also accused her of blocking his path to having an heir. However, he didn't reflect on his own faults at all. But at this moment, Anne was more furious than him. The truth was, Henry knew very well this was his fault, but he refused to admit it, and her 2 consecutive miscarriages had completely exhausted his patience. So once again he began considering divorce. However, when Anne saw her brother George's head being cut off, she could no longer control herself and broke down crying. She recalled those days when her husband neglected her. George's comfort and encouragement had kept her going, but she never imagined George would be accused of incest with her. This was a completely absurd charge. But when a ruler wants to condemn someone, any excuse works. When she first heard rumors about her supposed affairs spreading through the palace, she held her daughter Elizabeth and begged the king. She hoped Henry would reject these lies for the sake of their marriage. But Henry was already tired of her. He didn't believe and was innocent.
You were not a virgin when you married me. You were not what you seem. Your father and your brother arranged everything.
No!
Didn't believe her desperate explanations, so Anne was locked in the tower. At first, she still held some hope. She begged the ministers to plead with Henry on her behalf, but when she witnessed her brother's execution with her own eyes, all her hopes were shattered. Meanwhile, Henry and his lover Jane Seymour were inseparable. Anne's only remaining wish was for Henry to treat their daughter Elizabeth well. Even this wish couldn't be fulfilled. Henry began to doubt Elizabeth's bloodline. He immediately declared her illegitimate. When Anne heard this news, her heart felt torn apart. She never thought that even her only remaining tie in this world would be deprived of love and protection. Soon, Anne was brought to the scaffold. All along the way, the crowd insulted and accused her, but she didn't defend herself. Instead, before her death, she praised Henry. She did this to protect her daughter Elizabeth. But could the heartless Henry truly understand Anne's sacrifice?